Okay, that's a fairly straightforward principle in that if you're born in the UK before 1983, or if either of your parents were so born, then it should be possible to put a relatively straightforward application into the Home Office to have a passport issued. Non-standard claims are a completely different ballgame. They involve looking at pieces of legislation at key points in the past, generally that which is in force at the time when an ancestor is born, place of birth. We have lots of different former UK territories, Kenya Colony, Northern Rhodesian Protectorate and so on, and all of these have a specific feature in claims for UK nationality, as does working for the British government, Crown Service, sometimes service in things like the British South Africa Police in Rhodesia, lots of different options and 101 different ways in which one can qualify. South Africa is not the best place for third generation claims because it was an independent self-governing Commonwealth country up until 1962. Connections with other places such as Kenya, far more meriting in claims from those areas. But having said that, there are 3 or 4 different options when a third generation South African could acquire citizenship. For example, women could acquire citizenship through marriage to British men at certain points in the past, and other statuses are available in the same manner. South Africans would often go and work in other countries, particularly in the Federation of Rhodesia and Nyasaland, and when the Federation was dissolved there are potential claims there. And then of course we have claims through adoption as well. In any of those circumstances there could be a claim for a third generation South African. Without actually looking at detail in the family tree, it's not always possible to tell immediately. A lot of questions need to be asked. No, it's not quite as straightforward as that, sadly. It's not enough to know that the parent has a British passport. We need to know how the parent has acquired that passport. So we have situations where claims can be in the first generation by descent and also by the second generation. The passport is just really the travel document, and we need to look at the way in which that parent has actually qualified for their own British citizenship themselves to then be able to determine whether it can pass another generation by descent. Not anymore. You did at one stage. In fact, before 1949, women married to British men acquired citizenship automatically and by operation of law. In the 49 to 83 period, a separate status called the right of abode was given. In the modern day, if you're married to a British citizen, the only route to come to the UK is through formal settlement through the immigration process. In other words, applying for a spousal visa, and fairly stringent criteria are attached to that, or have been since 2012 in terms of finances and accommodation in the UK. It's not easy to get into the UK under those through a marriage visa anymore. And in fact, we often see the British spouse having to come to the UK to find work first before they can then sponsor the partner to come and join them. If you want to come to the UK to start a business, that's absolutely fine. An investment of £200,000 is required, and you have to take an active role in promoting and being a part of that business. It's been changed in recent times to allow 2 people to club together and put up the £200,000 investment, so you don't necessarily have to have that all yourself. You could have 2 people investing £100,000. Those people would be able to sponsor both families as well to come to the UK under that scheme. So it's quite generous at the moment. Otherwise, if we're looking at straight investment into the UK, £2 million into government bonds or UK active trading stock would again allow the issue of a 5-year visa, allowing residency at the end of that. With the business visas and the investment visas, the only difference between that and an ancestry visa is you're allowed to spend 50% of your time away from the UK, which is quite useful to know. If they would care to log on to our website, we run a free assessment service which allows you to put in details of your family tree back to your great-grandparents. That's a free service which will be conducted as what we term as a British passport review, and it will give you a steer, not a definitive answer, but a steer as to whether it's worthwhile pursuing or not. If we feel that a claim, or a more obscure claim, a non-standard claim if you like, is worth pursuing, we'll make it very plain to you and give instructions on how to take that forward.